Well, crime continues to be top of mind for people living, working, and visiting D.C. Tonight, there is a last-minute push to pass that massive crime bill that's aiming to turn things around.
But expect opponents to push back because the bill's sponsor is trying to reverse a vote from her colleagues. Our Delia Gonzalez is live in Penn Quarter tonight.
So, Delia, we're talking about the issue here. Collecting somebody's DNA when they're arrested for a felony but not yet charged. And I understand the U.S. Attorney is also weighing in on this.
That's right. U.S. Attorney Matthew Graves, his office is right behind me here on D Street in Penn Quarter. We talked to him earlier today because he penned an op-ed in the Washington Post calling DNA collection a common sense measure and is urging the council to put that back into the bill. You know, Graves says that D.C. would join 31 other states already doing this, collecting DNA from people arrested of felony violent crimes or misdemeanor sexual assault. This is arrested and not charged. He says doing so would not only solve future crimes, but prevent them.
There should be no concern.
U.S. Attorney Matthew Graves and Councilmember Brooke Pinto.
I was extremely disappointed that this provision was amended out.
Both defending putting DNA collection at the time of felony arrest or misdemeanor sexual assault back in the secure D.C. omnibus. Last month, the crime package passed its first vote almost unanimously, but there were several amendments, including this issue of DNA collection when someone's arrested for a felony but not charged. Opponents, including Councilmember Kenyon McDuffie, called it a violation of civil rights and the presumption of innocence. The bill's sponsor now trying to put that provision back in, but adding a judge will have to first decide if there is probable cause.
This is a particularly important women's rights issue. 39% of women in the District of Columbia experience sexual assault at some point in their lives, and women are 14 times more likely to be a victim of rape or sexual assault. And so to not allow the district to ensure that we have all the tools available to prevent repeat offenders when it comes to DNA is irresponsible, and I will be fighting to get that back in.
All they are looking at is just a small fraction of the information that's available from one's DNA. You cannot tell anything about. The information they use, you can't tell anything about, for instance, the person's even national origin or anything like that. There are strict rules about who can access. There are rules about removing if someone is subsequently acquitted of the conduct for which they're charged. So there's all kinds of provisions you can put in place to address those concerns.
They're saying there are guardrails on the collection and what they're looking at. There also should be strict guardrails in the bill that outline what will happen with expungement and how people will actually be able to claw that back from the federal system. Doing this in the 11th hour upon the second vote, again, won't make DC safer. And so we hope that council members will stick to their first vote, led by Councilmember McDuffie, and hold the line.
Okay, so this issue is going back up to debate and a final vote tomorrow in the council. But listen, there is going to be a lot of debate and discussion over this particular issue. Councilmember Brooke Pinto says she did make some other changes to language in regards to some of the other controversial measures like drug-free crime zones. But really, it is this DNA collection that's going to be the sticking point, because it's important to note that 9 out of the 13 council members wanted to remove and voted to remove DNA collection from the first version of the bill they passed. So it'll be interesting to find out what happens tomorrow. I should also mention Councilmember Kenyon McDuffie, who led the charge, and he introduced that amendment. I reached out to him several times today to try to get him to comment on this issue and the reverse, of course. I could not get in touch with him. We're live here in Penn Quarter. Delia Gonzalez, WUSA 9.
Very interesting, Delia. They're going to definitely want to get this right. A lot of eyes on this, not just now, but of course in Congress as well, who has the final say over any of these bills that the council passes and the mayor signs. Delia, thank you.